Youngsters Jamie Overton and Jack Leach impressed with the ball as Somerset fought back well during the second half of the opening day of their latest LV County Championship match with Middlesex in Taunton. On a green-tinged pitch after the immense amount of rain in the area on Tuesday, there was no surprise that Marcus Truscothick inserted after winning the toss as his side went in search of their first LV County Championship victory of the summer. The problem was that both Middlesex openers, Sam Robson and Chris Rogers, have been in scintillating form so far this summer, with both already knocking off a double hundred each. Given that, Somerset knew that they would have to take every chance they got, but they missed a good opportunity to run out Rogers, who'd just about given up on making his single halfway down the track. There was, naturally, some assistance for the bowlers too, and Overton was getting the ball to move both ways to trouble the batsmen. But both of them fought their way through the difficult moments and yet again got their side off to an ideal start, something which is becoming a habit for these two Australian-born cricketers, one of whom will be with his countrymen in the Ashes later this summer. They opened up with a stand of 76 in 24 overs this time, Robson taking his tally of runs in Championship cricket this season to 621 with another 42 here. Robson has rarely failed to get to at least a 50 this summer, but was out 25 minutes before lunch when Overton found his edge to offer Truscothick an important catch. The success of the top two in the Middlesex order has made life a little more difficult for those coming in below them. They've often had a long time to think about things while waiting to bat. So while Rogers continued ominously as far as Somerset were concerned, along his merry way, the pressure was a little higher for Joe Denley. Not that he showed any effects of that as he dominated the scoring after the lunch break with some classy shots. It wasn't so long ago that Denley, who played 9 ODIs and 5 T20s for England 4 years ago, was being talked about as a future England Test player, and with cover drives this good, it's not hard to see why. He did have his moments of fortune in the early part of the afternoon as well. This was by no means the only time that he used the edge of his bat rather than the middle. He and Rogers both got to their 50s. For Rogers, it was already the 4th time he got to at least that far this summer. He needed 121 deliveries to get to this one, but yet again, it had been an innings of the highest quality. He will be missed when he heads off for the Ashes later this summer. He's preparing for them with a host of runs at the start of this championship campaign, that's for sure. Denley also reached his half-century, his coming off only 71 balls, and that after he'd slowed down after a rampaging start. He'd hit 10 fours in that 50, and then celebrated that with an 11th, as Middlesex started to bat themselves into a really good position. But almost from nowhere, they lost 3 wickets in 10 balls. On 57, Rogers nicked Overton behind and headed off. On 55, Denley followed in the next over, seemingly forgetting where his stumps were and letting a straight ball from Leach crash into them. Then, next ball, Overton, bowling with good pace and finding an ideal line, had Darvin Milan held by Truscothick after making just 2. From a strong position of 158 for 1, the high-flying Middlesex had slipped to 162 for 4, and it took John Simpson to stop the rot before tea. He continued to go well after the break too, as he and Neil Dexter started to put their side back into the driving seat, bringing up the 200 in the process. But another cluster of wickets again turned the game back Somerset's way. Having made an untroubled 22, Simpson was very well held by James Hildreth under the helmet off Leach. Before the spinner removed Gareth Berg, the ball somehow coming off the back of his bat and looping to Peter Trigo at mid-wicket. And from 211 for 4, Middlesex slipped to 222 for 7 in the space of 5 overs when Lewis Gregory got in on the action by having the returning James Harris caught behind. It could have been even worse for the visitors, but Dexter just made his ground after some hesitation in going for a risky single. He did survive that and then took 14 runs off 4 balls from Steve Kirby to get to an important 50 from 110 deliveries in total. This was one of his half a dozen boundaries. Toby Rowland-Jones, back from a good workout with the Lions last week, got his innings underway in the best possible fashion as he helped a leg side ball from Overton into the cider area. It was an odd day of cricket, this one, with neither side really getting a firm grip on the game. Dexter and Rowland-Jones now began another recovery, bringing up the 250 and then carrying the total to 270 with a 48-run partnership just when things appeared to be slipping away from them. But with half an hour of the day remaining, Overton claimed a 4th wicket for the first time in his developing championship career, Hildreth taking the catch to remove Roland Jones for 21. Dexter stuck it out and remained until the close, by which time he'd made a season's best 73 not out. He'd been backed well by Tom Smith, who's playing in only his 12th first-class game in 7 seasons as a professional cricketer. He'll resume on the second morning on 9, with his side on 293 for 8.